Hey, it's Martin here, your Kangen Water Guy, and today we're talking about connecting up the water system to your caravan, your motorhome, whatever you want to do. So what we've actually got here in the first step, in my opinion, is to make sure that the source water that you're getting from the tap, which is over there as we can see, basically that when it travels through your food grade hose, so you make sure you've got a blue hose and it is actually food grade, water grade, whatever. It's not hose pipe. Genuine hose pipe from the garden is going to make your water taste like crap. Okay, so you need good hose pipe. What you'll notice here is that along the line from the tap, I've actually got a pre-filter in here. This is just a standard pre-filter. There's nothing fancy about it. It's actually from the local hardware store. I think it was about 30 bucks. That's Australian, Stefani. So it says there, Universal Caravan Water Filter. Now, it does remove just a little bit of stuff. It's not going to do a lot. Some people, this is enough for them, but really, with everything around the education that I do, it's all about making sure that you're getting cleaner, healthier water on a higher level, especially when we get into the likes of the Enagic Kangen water machines. So this is the first stage, and as you can see, it's going straight into the van. So also, these two here are the tanks. So we've got two 80 litre tanks of water for fresh water. Whenever I fill these up, then I'm going to use this exact setup and I'm going to go straight into there and fill up 160 litres of water that's been pre-filtered with this as well. So let's now go inside the van and I'll show you my next setup within there as well. Okay, so step two then is looking at the pre-filtration in the van. And the reason for that is that we want to make sure that we're removing a lot more of the contaminants. Now, I talk about this in regards to filtration on my website, but really when you're traveling around, especially around Australia, you're getting all kinds of different source waters, such as town water, rainwater, bore water, in fact, and other sources. So we need to make sure that the water, not only that's coming out the K8 is clean, but also that the fact that the source water going into it, the cleaner we can get it, the healthier our Kangen water is going to be in particular. So we have one twin pre-filter kit, and it's universal in regards to we can put different filters on depending on the source water. Now, why this is important is because the water that's in the tanks, remember that's gone through the first stage of filtration, which is just a basic filter. The next stage is that we want to make sure that, especially if it's town water and you want all those heavy metals, VOCs, maybe even pharmaceuticals, pesticides, anything like that, or if you're bothered about fluoride, that being reduced, all those kinds of things, then we really want to make sure that we've got a pre-filter. Some of the places where you're going to be on rainwater, maybe even bore water, then you really want to be making sure that they're getting rid of bacteria, pathogens and stuff like that. So we have a system, very easy to disconnect, change out the filters as we need, but we have it in the van. So some people choose to have them outside, but because we do a lot of basically free camping, we go in the bush, we're not at caravan parks most of the time, we're drawing from our tanks. So we want to make sure that the water that's coming in then is pre-filtered before it comes out of the tap or goes through the Enagic ionizer. So down here is where we've actually got, this is underneath the sink, we've got the setup right here. So as you can see, all of the pipe work under there, we've actually put the pre-filters right underneath, right at the top. I've fixed them, I've had brackets. You get a bracket with the pre-filter kit that I recommend, and we've actually made a bracket to hold it up. But it's simple to connect. All that would have happened was the cold, which is the blue pipe here, the big one, would go straight the way up through to the main tap. And what we've actually done is we've just put a diverter in there, and then we've diverted it through the actual pre-filter kit. So it's just a couple of screws, drops, pulls out, and then we can unscrew and change out a filter out of whichever side that we want, depending on what source water we've got going in. This is actually a town water kit. So the first one is a sediment, which will be here, and then the second one is actually a very high level fluoride reduction kit. It's like 92% grade of fluoride. It does all your heavy metals, your VOCs, and other contaminants, which is all explained on the website. There's actually a link in the description of this video if you want to learn more around filtration. But then the water from there comes straight out and it goes all the way up and it comes out of the main kitchen tap. Okay, so some of the common things that are going to be asked are around the water pressure that's coming in. Now, depending on where you are, and if you're connected like we are right now, we're connected straight to the actual water source coming in, then the pressure could be pretty good. Most of the times it's been pretty good, sometimes it's not been so good. So the pressure coming into your caravan or your motorhome or wherever it is, that is going to dictate how well the pressure comes out your tap. Now, if you're on a pump, we actually have a pump that is 45 psi. It pumps water through at 11.3 litres per minute. That's about 3 gallons per minute. That's the pressure that we have from the pump. That is what's actually pumping through our twin pre-filter that I just showed you, and also through the K8. And it works fine. It's not as fast as it just going directly from a normal house water main that's got a lot of pressure, but it still works fine and it does the job, especially for what we need it to do. So, in regards to the ionizer setup, here we have obviously our kitchen tap. Now, when we got the van, our kitchen tap, the diverter for the Enagic ionizer, it wouldn't connect. Okay, it's about a 20 mil, and it's a 22 on your diverter, so about 20 mil was the tap. So I had to hunt around to try and find an adapter. Now, it can be quite challenging to find adapters to screw on. However, it's worth just trying different more. You're going to just have to try quite a few. I actually have a box of different fittings because of different ones I've trialed. But I managed to nail it with this one. I had it in my box and I screwed it on. Fantastic. We were able to go from 20 mil to 22 and then screw on the metallic diverter. I always use the metallic diverter. It's just a lot neater, and especially when you're in a small space, you want it to be as compact as possible. You'll notice then that the white inlet hose goes then straight into the ionizer, the K8. This is all pre-filtered. Every single bit of cold water that comes through from this tap is pre-filtered through the twin pre-filtration kit, so just bear that in mind. However, when we go over to hot, that isn't pre-filtered because hot water doesn't go through the pre-filter kit. So when we do that, that's our pressure. So it's, as you can see, it's fairly low. We've had it a lot more from other when we've been hooked up in other places, but that's fairly low. However, when I turn the valve, the pressure is good enough for it to actually create the Kangen water. Now, it will be a slower flow. I've said this, it will be a slower flow. It's not going to come through as fast, but it's still good enough for the ionizer to work. And this is an important part. It's good enough for the ionizer to work, okay? If your pressure's not good enough, all you're going to get is water out the bottom hose, and it's going to say increase flow, increase flow. So we can turn that off now. You can see that works. There's a couple of other things that I want to touch on. Some of you may notice the strap across the K8. The reason why this is in place is pretty obvious, because we don't want the K8 to fall over. We do a lot of traveling off-grid. So a lot of corrugations, for those of you who don't know, that's ripples in the road that basically rattles the hell out of your car, your caravan, and it actually causes the death of a lot of things within and damage to your vehicles. So we actually chose to fix the K8 to the van. We actually spoke to a fabricator. He made this stainless steel bracket and then just put some rubber mounting around it, and as you can see, it's screwed either side. So this doesn't go anywhere. This is solid. It's also right down because it's got rubber around it. That stops it jumping up and down. Okay, so we've been in the van while we've been going over corrugations and stuff. This does not move, it's fixed. So we don't have to pack it down every time when we're going to leave. However, what we do is we unscrew this side, we remove the bracket, and we take out the filter, and we take out the enhancer tank, and we put them aside. We put the cleaning block over cartridge in place for the K8, and we lock that in there, and we screw it all back on. And this is so that the filter's not rattling around in the housing and then creates any damage. And the final thing around the K8 or any of the ionizers, no matter what ionizer you're installing in your caravan, your motorhome, for the K8 in particular, it doesn't have a long overflow hose. It has a short one. But when you buy your K8, especially when you get it new from Enagic, and if you haven't got this, you can contact Enagic and get it, you can get the runoff hose. It simply connects underneath. From this, you pull that out, you take off your little white one, You push this one in place and then you just push it back in. It actually shows you how to do it in your manual for your K8, but then that gives you more flexibility in regards to where you house your K8. For us, it would have been no good here because of the small area we've got, so we were able to put it back over here, and it works really, really well. So that's how we've got our setup in our caravan. Once again, really is important to make sure that you're looking at the pre-filtration. Highly, highly recommend you do. Some of the places we've been to, the water has tasted disgusting, and if we didn't have the pre-filtration, we probably wouldn't have drank it. We'd have had to go and buy bottled water. So, and also just another handy tip, well, there's two things here. With our runoff, we actually have a 5-litre drum that we put in here. It's just a thin drum. In fact, it's here. And what we do, we take the lid off. So when we're filling up quite a lot of Kangen water, then we basically do that. And we let the runoff go into this. And then when we've got town water in our tanks, we will pour that back into our tanks so it mixes, because we don't want the tanks just to be full of runoff. Ionization probably won't take place if we're just using the runoff water, but when we're mixing it, it'll be fine. In my next video, we're going to talk about the Anespa. We also have the Anespa installed in the caravan. I'll show you through how that is all connected up, how it works. And naturally, for those of you who are familiar with the Anespa, showering in it, bathing in it, you'll understand why exactly we installed it in the caravan. So thank you for your time. If you've got any questions, comments, drop them below. Look forward to answering them for you. All the best on your journey and experiencing your new adventures. Bye for now. Enjoying my YouTube channel? Please make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to receive further value.